The year is 1915. In the teens, the first cylinder war would start, with more and more companies offering more and more cylinders. Tons of companies began offering V8s. Companies that offered the V8 in 1915 include, but not limited to, Cadillac, Cole, King, Apperson, Faro. Faro was an engine supplier. They built the engines for Biscoe, Scripps Booth, Jackson, Will St. Clair, Lafayette. Packard skipped the 8-cylinder entirely, going to V12, or as they called, twin 6, at first, but they would make a straight 8 that would become their bread and butter engine. The 12 would become an engine staple for Halo cars. The first year for the American V12 was 1914, and it was proprietary to Packard. They were the only company in the U.S. to offer a V12. After 1914, National would offer a V12, and then they would start coming. Wheeldly would build V12s for the Kissel and Pathfinder. Other companies that would get V12s were Cadillac, Franklin, Pierce Arrow, Lincoln, Auburn. Just like those companies, Buick's first engineer, Walter Marr, was inspired by the Packard Twin 6 engine design concept, so much so that he wanted to build his very own Twin 6, but it would utilize Buick's overhead valve arrangement, where the push rods and valves were exposed. Walter Marr would build 2 of these engines. One is still in existence. It was passed down through the Marr family. The other one was given to Walter P Chrysler, who was president at Buick during the time and probably got lost in his closet. But if you know what happened to that car, in the comments section below. Walter Marr would take existing blocks from the existing 6-cylinder and would modify the bore and stroke size, getting each block of cylinders to 192 cubic inch displacement. He would take those 2 blocks and he would bolt them to an aluminum crankcase. The Buick Twin 6 was relatively compact. Marr would go the cheaper route in the connecting rods to offset the cylinder banks instead of using the blade and fork connecting rods, which is a more expensive way to go. Push rods of this unit were exposed and they were aligned inside the valley made between the 2 banks of cylinders. Valves are overhead, 2 valves per cylinder, intake and exhaust. The cylinders are fed with a single updraft carburetor, 2-barrel design Stewart unit, essentially making it a single barrel carburetor for each bank of cylinders. Intake design is clean and painted black. Exhaust exits on the side of the engine block in the traditional way, which is a spectacle in itself to see because most exhaust systems during 1915 went over the engine. This one exits in the traditional fashion, bringing overall displacement to 384.25 cubic inch displacement, overhead valve, V12, 6.2 liters. It was good for an estimated anywhere between 85 to 110, around 2,800 RPM. We got the 110 figure from the straight 6 was 55 horsepower, so if they took 2 of the straight 6s, but they de-stroked it and de-bored it, so there isn't any power figures available for this engine, so we just estimated it. Estimated based off of the 110 horsepower figure, 206 pound-feet, 279 newton meters at 1,600 RPM with a bore of 3.010 inches and a stroke of 4.5 inches. 2 were produced, and they were put into the Model D55 touring cars. It's not clear why Buick didn't pursue the V12 engine. Perhaps Cadillac's V12 wasn't even thought of yet, and Buick couldn't be better than Cadillac. Who knows? This is what it sounds like running. Now it's time for Would You Rather, pre-war Buick edition. Which one of these would you rather have? And I know everybody would rather have the D55 with the V12. You could write that in. It's not in one of these selections, but which one of these would you rather have? 1910 Buick Model 16 Roadster, or 1916 Buick, or 1920 Buick K6. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video On to the second scenario. 1928 Buick or 1930 Buick Series 60 or 1932 Buick 57S. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give all three, the name of the band, song title, and the lyric or the line, full sentence that comes next. First person to do all three will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Right now you think that she's perfection. This time is really an exception. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this one. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or you could always send me an email at what_it's_like@yahoo.com. I dig everything that you guys share in the comment section, and I also dig this community that I'm very much a part of. Try to run this channel different than anybody else. Reach out and you'll definitely hear back. Until next time, toodaloo!